Good afternoon. My name is Elvin, and this afternoon I will be presenting the art of executive negotiation, leadership lessons from a restoration company. I would like to begin by asking one simple question. What is negotiation? Many people immediately think about price, others think about contract, salaries, trying to convince somebody or someone to agree with you. Early in my professional military career and now as a business owner, I probably would have answered the same way. Today, after years of owning and operating RestorPros of Waco Temple, a restoration company, I see negotiation in a very different manner. I believe negotiation is not about winning an argument. It is about creating trust, solving problems, and helping people make informed decisions based on facts. I believe negotiation is about share the real example that completely change the way we think about a executive decision or an executive negotiation. Several months ago, I had the opportunity to experience a challenge with my company in support of one of our customers. My company was managing a water damage restoration project for a homeowner insured by State Farms. The loss originated from a Category 3 toilet overflow, which meant that water was contaminated and required specialized mitigation process. During the mitigation process, the bathroom tile floor had to be removed so the concrete slab underneath could be inspected, cleaned or disinfected, and properly dried. Initially, State Farms approved the mitigation work and paid for the removal of the tile flooring. However, when the reconstruction began, the replacement of the same tile flooring was denied because the adjuster determined that the tile itself did not show any visible physical damage at the time of the loss. At first, it appeared to be a disagreement about flooring, but it was not. It became one of the most valuable leadership lessons I have experienced so far in this business. My first instinct was to explain why the tile had to be replaced. We used the CR 500 standard, which determined the processes for water mitigation. Fortunately, I stopped myself. Instead of arguing about whether the tile was damaged, I asked a different question. I asked the question with the customer in mind. Was removing the tile necessary to properly restore the cover loss? In this case, affected property. That single question changed the entire negotiation. One of the most important concepts I learned during my doctorate studies is the difference between a position and interest. A position is what someone says they want. An interest is the reason behind that position, the end state. A State Farm position was simple. The tile was not damaged, so it did not have to be replaced. If I focus on proving them wrong, the conversation wouldn't have become an argument. Instead, I focused on the underlying interest. The real issue wasn't about whether the tile were cracked or damaged. The real issue was about restoring the homeowner's property to its pre-loss condition, which is the purpose behind insurance policy. Once we shifted the discussion toward the restoration instead of damage, the conversation became more productive. Another concept that influenced my approach was my understanding of the best alternative to the negotiation agreement or BATNA. Many people think about BATNA means treating the other party or having leverage over them, kind of taking advantage of them. But it is different. The purpose of this um, best alternative negotiation agreement is knowing what options are available to me during the discussion. If the request was denied, we had several professional alternatives. We could provide additional documentation, submit supplement information, request another review, involve the homeowner in the discussion with the carrier and adjuster, and continue supporting every request with accepted restoration standards. Knowing we have those options allow us to be patient, respectful, confident, and professional throughout the entire process. The third lesson was the importance of objective criteria. Executive negotiations should never depend on options alone. They should be supported by facts that both parties can evaluate. Throughout this claim, every request was submitted was backed by objective evidence. We relied on photographed 3D camera imagery, moisture readings, drying logs, exacting estimate, and accepted restoration practices outlined in the CRC 500 standard. Instead of saying we believe the tile should have been replaced, we demonstrated contaminated water had migrated beneath the tile assembly, and that the concrete slab remained wet and exposed to bacteria growth. That the tile had already been removed during the approved mitigation process because they understood that the requirement from the CRC 500 required for us to remove that tile to properly disinfect the area underneath. Those facts transformed the conversation. Another decision proved equally important. Rather than having RestoPros argue over the coverage issue, we encouraged the homeowner to engage directly with the carrier and the adjuster to communicate these concerns. The insurance policy is a contract between a carrier and the insured, not the contractor. Our responsibility was to provide technical documentation and professional expertise that supported the homeowner's request and addressed their concerns. This approach strengthened our credibility while keeping everybody focused on the same objective, which was to restore the property to the pre-existing condition. Throughout the entire negotiation, we made a conscious decision to remain professional. We avoided emotional language, pointing fingers. We never accused the adjuster of making a mistake or not looking into the best interests of the customer. Instead, we asked questions. We requested clarification from the adjuster. We respectfully explained the technical basis for our position. That professional tone kept the conversation productive rather than confrontational. In the end, State Farm approved the replacement of the bathroom tile, approved the general contractor overhead and profit, and increased the reconstruction estimate to include the necessary scope of work that constituted the replacement of the tile. The outcome wasn't the result of an argument harder. It was about demanding more money. It was not about requesting additional funding. It was about the result of the preparation, documentation, objective evidence, and professional communication between our company and the insurance company. As an executive leader, we negotiate every day, not only with our customers, employees, internal teams, business partner, but a lot of time with insurance adjuster. About 50% of our jobs, 50 to 60% of our jobs are covered by insurance. So having a good relationship with these adjusters is extremely important. We negotiate with employee, customer, vendors, insurance company, business partners, and even ourselves as we make difficult decisions. The greatest lesson I learned that is successful negotiation is not about defeating the person sitting across the table. When we focus on interest instead of position, rely on objective criteria instead of opinions, and negotiate with professionalism rather than emotion, we create solutions that benefit everyone involved. I would like to leave you with one final thought. People often ask me what the secret to successful negotiation is. My answer is simple. Executive negotiation isn't about proving that you're right. It is about helping people arrive at the same decision while preserving the relationship. This is extremely important for businesses and for customer satisfaction. That is how trust is built, and that is how organizations like RestroPro continue to grow. In my experience, that is true art of executive negotiation. Thank you for your attention to this presentation.